What's up, y'all? It's Daniel from HonestStrength.com. Today I want to give you how I individualize training programs for athletes. So when you look at the consensus of the literature, you find that when volume is equated for, the rep range doesn't seem to really matter for hypertrophy. So whether you perform sets with 4 reps, 8 reps, 12 reps, even up to 30, 50 reps, if you go to failure and equate for the volume, there doesn't seem to be really any difference in the gains of hypertrophy. Now, obviously, there's going to be different energy system adaptations depending on the time under tension. And also what they found is in order for you to maximize strength gains, maximal strength and power gains, you need to train above 85% intensity. So really 5 reps or below, because you need to meet a critical threshold to have those neurological adaptations. But the interesting thing I want to talk about regarding how to individualize training for athletes is when you actually look at the raw data in these papers, you see what's called a normal distribution. It's called a normal distribution because it's normally seen, and it applies to basically anything, any physiologic variable, so be it pharmaceutical, drugs, nutrition studies, or training protocols. What you find here is that when they're saying there's no difference, they're talking about the mean, and 68% of the subjects fall in that mean. So for about 14%, they go 2 standard deviations from the mean in either extreme. And for about 2%, there's another 3rd deviation from the mean. So what that means in practice is, while there was no significant difference in hypertrophy, when you look at the mean of the statistical data, what you see in the raw data is that actually a small percentage of the subjects saw better size gains with slower reps, and some subjects saw better strength gains with higher reps. So as a clinician, to stay ahead of the curve, my job is to figure out where you fall on the distribution so I can optimize your training program for you. One of the things that I learned from Charles, and Charles Poliquin was very lucky to have, I hesitate to call it luck, but he was lucky to work with Olympic athletes. And so their budget was, anything within reason. He could work and look at the blood markers, and he could dial in their training to the nth degree and control for so many variables. So what he would do is keep careful training logs and obviously carefully designed training programs to see how each athlete would respond. And what he found was there were variation responders, volume responders, intensity responders, and a combination thereof unique to every athlete. So some athletes, again, just like the raw data show, they respond better to higher reps, even for strength goals. And some athletes respond better to lower reps, even for hypertrophy goals. And so what he developed was a system where he uses the Braverman test, which was developed by Eric Braverman. And so what that does is it tests which neurotransmitters you're dominant in. It's basically a personality test, but it's based on your neurotransmitter dominances. And what we can do is see, based on that test, what training you're most likely to respond best to. So it really accelerates my individualization process as a coach, and yours as an athlete if you use it, to really maximize your training. The interesting thing you'll see is that powerlifters, bodybuilders, endurance, long distance runners, they have unique personalities. And you'll find a trend, a pattern among those athletes. And that may be due to these neurotransmitter dominances that push them towards a preferred way of training. And it may be to biochemical individuality where they actually flourish with that type of training. So you can go to bravermantest.com and take the Braverman dominance test, send me your scores, and I can point you in the right direction for maximizing your training. Talk to you soon.